Hello.
Share my screen. Okay, so my project is called Looking for Margot, and you can find it here on the blog. Okay. Prologue at John11 tweets. In the beginning was the Word was with Margot, and the Word was Margot. At Krone News tweets. Breaking life. Pope Pius XIII shocks Christian community with his dogmatic first address. Margot. Tears overflow my cheeks, and from my vanquished eyes a sudden shower falls. The drops form a trickle, a flow, a torrent, 40 days and 40 nights of continuous and universal rain. Waves are in excess, everything runs to the sea. No possible action of any flood could thus have muddled the land, either within the valley or along the open coast, a flood that leaves everything in a state of confusion. The sea, by its motion, forming a great briny mass, searching for direction. There is a stone in the sea called the oyster. A stray grain of sand finding its way into its shells is enough to spark a new beginning. The oyster comes out of the sea early in the morning, ahead of the light, and opening its shell, it swallows the heavenly dew and the rays of the sun and moon and the light from the stars above. And thus is born the pearl, I am born from the most high celestial bodies. Act 1, Alienation. Scene 1, about falling in love. Lenny. Thrusting a flat knife between the two shells. I keep praying for you to make something happen, so why this awful crawling feeling that nothing ever does? He turns the knife forcefully. I search everywhere, I pray everywhere. God's infinite silence. The two shells crack open, and he draws out the knife. The oyster's valves are standing open, and the pearl lays between them, a wonderful sight and notable, for no pearl in all history could be compared with it. One moment it did not exist. The next moment it was full blown in my mind, as though it had been there all the time and needed only the bursting of a soap bubble whale to show it. At Young Poppy tweets. I remember the devotion of your youth, your love as a bride, how you followed me in the wilderness, in a land not sown. Margot was holy to me, the first fruits of my harvest. Scene 2, about bees and honey. A taxi stops at Parkgasse 18. Lenny stands in front of the white wall that encloses the whole parcel of Haus Wittgenstein. Parking spots and weathered advertising posters besiege it and make it seem like a weak try to resist the changes of time. Ludwig likes to hide his pale face behind it when he's thinking. Lenny steps through the only entrance into the garden. The garden is calm and empty with the exception of one tree. Naturally, only the apple tree interests him, tempts him. He can see its flowers. Ludwig observes him. Ludwig. Once on a June evening, I was waiting for a total eclipse of the sun on my terrace facing the garden, overlooking the neighboring office buildings. Lenny picks an apple. Ludwig. It soon became dark, and an eclipse wind like a wave had risen, when suddenly from the neighboring house burst forth a sort of wild dance, with the strange, biting stringed sound of Pan's pipes. I saw Margot. She smiled. She overwhelmed. Young people were celebrating some festival. They had confused shadow with twilight and were playing as night fell. Lenny, you have forgotten God. If you do not keep her multiplicity in view, you will perhaps be inclined to ask questions like, what is she? The wailing of the sun's light is disturbing and transports one to another world. In this twilight, we will celebrate a great feast. All Margos will want to attend. She smiles, she overwhelms, and your heart will undergo a mysterious blossoming. This is how great love stories are born, and I don't want any more part-time believers. Act 2, The Invitation. At Young Poppy tweets, my darling friends, there's one spectacular wedding in the making. Join us tonight at Haus Wittgenstein to a glass of dry white wine under fig trees, eating fresh trout on soft carpets, between birch trees and skyscrapers, black panthers and partridges, listening to Sora by Bad Gyal and the Bach Suite No. 1, playing Fellini's Roma and Mario Kart, feeling the wind in your hair and salt crystals on your skin, walking barefoot on wet grass and wearing Mikov boots, celebrating equal rights and miniskirts, from Los Angeles to Palermo, daydreaming and ADHD, sleeping in white sheets and glowing cheeks, from dancing till dawn. Bring a delicate spring bouquet of florets in new leaf green, cherry blossom pink, and marigold yellow, and we will serve everything else. Act 3, the ceremony. The house is electric. The house is electrified. City, attraction. The house is rubbed amber, polished, positively charged. It is wired, a beaming sun, drawing your gaze across the city. Ludwig. You stood in the door, held the panel facing away from you, closed one eye, looked through the hole towards me, held a mirror at arm's length to reflect a picture, and lo and behold, the magic of complete eidetic correspondence. At LPD Vienna tweets, during a helicopter flight, colleague Rainer from the LVA often uses the opportunity to capture the picturesque nature and the cultural sides of our city from the air. But today you witnessed something extraordinary. Haus Wittgenstein is visible from even far above the city. The garden and streets enlightened, radiant and reaching in all directions, emitting visual, audible, and perceptile vibrations, as if it trying to regain space, finally standing up to the neighboring buildings. At Young Poppy tweets, you said to me on that deserted beach in California, you can touch my legs, but I didn't do it. There, my love is love lost. That's why I never stopped wondering, since that day, where you've been and where you are now. For a short time, I forsook you, but with great mercy I will gather you. In a moment of anger, I hid my face from you, but with everlasting love, I will have mercy on you. At Krone News tweets, breaking. For days now, something has been happening that we haven't seen for a long time. News and social networks are not focusing on evil anymore, but on good. And all this thanks to Pope Pius XIII's heartbreaking love letters. The world has stopped turning to talk about love. A daughter of Zion tweets, Some weeks ago, we've never heard about him, and now he's everywhere. In my dream, he looked like Hauru, wearing drop earrings made of rubies and emeralds combined, his blonde chin-length hair making him the cynosure of all eyes. The house flirts. The house is flirted with. Sight, openings. The house is cut diamond, beaming light, pouring affection, broadcasting sweet nonsense, touching you in passing. At Proud Dad tweets. Out of the window in my office, I can see behind the enclosure of Haus Wittgenstein. As the guests arrive and walk up the grand stairs towards the house, the air is full of petals twinkling through the air, giving off a smell of orange blossoms. Surrounded by an electric atmosphere, people get chauffeured around in Mercedes. I'm here, sitting at my desk, not able to concentrate, asking myself at what point my life took the direction that I'm here and not there. Ludwig plays a song. Tutti vennero al festival, alcuni in costumi stravaganti, altri nei loro vestiti migliori. Erano tutti lì per celebrare la giovinezza, malinconia. A young puppy tweets, "What is more beautiful, my love? Love lost or love found? Don't laugh at me, my love. I'm awkward and naive when it comes to love, and I ask questions straight out of a pop song." At Sophie99 tweets, "Here's a song for you, Lungomare by Lust for Youth. One of the advantages of living next to Haus Wittgenstein for sure is that I can Shazam their music." At LPD Vienna tweets, "Traffic jam. We recommend avoiding the area around Parkgasse." The house is fertile. The house is fertilized. The garden. The house is the virginal rose of Sharon, a sprouting desert, synthetic bliss, turning juicy carbon dioxide into sweet oxygen, alluring you into the wilderness. Ludwig. I surround an area, the line, a boundary of a game, and the players are supposed to jump over it. Here is the garden, a space I cultivated for Margot, to make a spray for her hair, to perfume the sheets. Symmetry as a red carpet, a collection of living beauties rising up in a warm haze, innumerable modern statues tower on their pillars, watching you being walked towards the altar. At Wiener Stadtbauamt tweets, "We have decided that despite several complaints, the old trees and plants reaching far over the border of the Haus Wittgenstein parcel will not be taken down. The garden keeps precious animals and plants rare worldwide and should be obtained with great care." At Young Puppy tweets, "A locked up garden is my bride, an orchard of pomegranates with precious fruits, henna with spikenard plants, and saffron, calamus, and cinnamon, with every kind of incense tree, myrrh and aloes. A fountain of gardens is my Margot, a well of living waters." A Daughter of Zion tweets, "As I ascend the stairs towards the altar, I stop and stand alone in ecstasy, inhaling through the noise of the falling rain, the lingering scent of invisible lilacs. I touch a fragile tree and blossoming spicules float down and fade, each with a clear, tiny tinkle." The house perceives. The house is perceived. Entrance, openings. The house is reflecting onyx, lucid dreaming, open wide eyes, recording window shopping, feeling you making an entrance. Ludwig puts on his crown, symmetry as a red carpet. At Architect and Partners tweets, "The final steps towards the building pass through a tight entry. A door through a transparent, maybe non-existent wall. It is about seeing and being seen. First impressions are made. Ahead some distance from the entrance is a great mural of brilliant color. Left and right, two symmetrical staircases with marble balustrades leading to the upper floor." The ceremony begins as people are moving in, gathering in the entrance hall and taking a stand-up cocktail. There is champagne, caviar, and fireworks. At Young Puppy tweets, "In the end, my love, we have no choice. We have to find." And I see you, Margot, in the overflowing sea of bouquets the guests have brought along. The house sculpts. The house is sculpted. Chamber of elements. The house is sculpted marble, dramatic shadows, ecstatic pain, capturing fantasies and dancing elements, putting you into the spotlight. At Architect and Partners tweets, the staircase leads to the salon in the second floor, where the great banquet takes place. Every meal is a carefully sculpted creation. Billows of smoke of several hookahs hang in the air. The huge chandeliers had dimmed under the vaulted ceiling. The guests sit on couches of brocaded silk, leaning on cushions. Ludwig, my dramatically directed light renders their bodies like Baroque sculptures. They are amulets, they are fetishes, beautiful ornamental objects. At Young Puppy tweets, your rounded thighs are like jewels, the work of skillful hands. Your body is like a round goblet, your waist like a heap of wheat, set about with lilies. Your neck is like an ivory tower. This, your stature, is like a palm tree, your breast like its fruit. A daughter of Zion tweets, my beloved's cheeks are like a bed of spices with towers of perfumes. His lips are like lilies, dropping liquid myrrh. His hands are like rings of gold set with beryl. His body is like an ivory work overlaid with sapphires. His legs are like pillars of marble set on sockets of fine gold. The house manifests. The house is manifested. Chamber of rituals. The house is titled Aquamarine, amused by being dramatic, unconditionally romantic, unfolding sacraments, embracing all your absurdities. And Ezekiel tweets, then you grew up, became tall, and reached the age for fine ornaments. Your breasts were formed and your hair had grown, yet you were naked and bare. I spread my cloak over you and covered your nakedness. Ludwig plays a song by Nelly Furtado. Promiscuous girl, wherever you are, I'm all alone, and it's you that I want. Lenny. Our most intimate gestures move to sound. We dance, absurd, peculiar, mad, fantastic, bizarre, eccentric, laughable, and charming. Ludwig opens the ceiling to reveal 100 sparkling stars through the moving branches of the wind-tossed apple tree. The signs of the zodiac are moving from east to west. A strong wind starts rising. Minute promptings coming from everywhere in quality, dimension or intensity. On every wavelength make sensibility tremble, fluctuate, and sweep and dance randomly over the spaces. While she speaks, the waves wash over her lips, the sea breaking free. Promiscuous boy, you already know that I'm all yours. What are you waiting for? Lenny, time stands still, where space folds in on itself. The sea gives birth to a tidal flow, a rhythmic current emerges from the disorderly lapping of waves. Music surfaces in this place. Here the body rises above disorder. Here Margot rises above the waves, even more complex than the normal sound of waves breaking. Lenny. Lying on the moving floor, shaken by the movement of the waves, I am in danger of drowning. Margot. I thought you've learned how to swim till now. Lenny. I am an active body expressing a movement, gesture, and dance, rather than in language alone. We belong together. You are my vessel for probability to fluctuate, and the ship will not resemble merely a ship, but also the sea itself, even its hull and sails being composed of waves. Sensuality is rendered, multiplied, mirrored, proportioned in a composition, and I will disturb your order till the end of day. We belong together from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. The obscurity is long, here is the dawn, and beyond the reach of water, beyond wind, cold, fog, light and dark, the house protects us just as the belly of a vessel separates us from the cold of the sea. I'm done.